We got a big week for tech coming up with a number of companies reporting earnings. As the Journal pointed out this morning, we get Microsoft, we get Apple, we get Amazon, we get Facebook. They account for almost a fifth of the S&P 500's total returns this year. Joining us right now to talk about what to expect for this group and the broader market is Paul Meeks, lead portfolio manager for the Wireless Fund and a veteran tech investor. We're going to be hearing from a lot of these companies. Do you want to be in the market this week, or do you buy on the rumor, sell on the news?
Yeah, I'm a little bit cautious. Whenever I come on the program, I always want to be honest with you guys and your viewers. I'm a little bit worried, particularly the favored, most popular tech stocks, about their valuations. That's one worry. And frankly, the much bigger worry is the macroeconomic backdrop. That being said, after we got through the nastiness last week in Netflix, I expect the rest of the FAANGs and the majors to report not stellar results, but solid results. But still, with the run-up that we've seen in tech stocks so far in 2019, I would rather be a watch-and-see portfolio manager than somebody aggressively buying ahead of quarters.
Is there any of these stocks you'd want to own ahead of the quarter?
Yeah, I was pretty intrigued this morning when I read about Goldman Sachs' upgrade of Micron, which is the most commodity of the semiconductor group in DRAM and flash memory chips. And if they're indeed right, and we see early signs of a turn in semiconductors, that would bode well for the sector, because semiconductors always lead us in and always lead us out.
When you think about Micron, though, you also invariably, at least I've been thinking these days about Huawei. There's a big meeting with many of the big technology companies at the White House today to try to understand what the U.S. government is going to allow and not allow in terms of what tech companies can do business with Huawei. How important is that?
I think it's very important. And even though there was a bit of a relief, or at least perceived relief, after the latest exchange between the two heads of government, I still don't know what the policy is officially on the U.S. side of the house with Huawei. And of course, Huawei is a major player, and a major player of import, because of so many of the U.S. components go into those systems. And so that's what I meant at the outset of my comments about an uncertain backdrop. That macroeconomic factor and others are the biggest worry that I have for the tech sector.
Of the FAANGs, is there anyone you don't want to own at all right now?
Going into the reports on the rest of the FAANGs, because we've had a little bit of action so far, I'm probably most worried about Alphabet, given the slowdown in growth. The other companies I don't think are interesting valuations, but I hold them, and I think the reports will be not spectacular, but solid.
Hold on, back up. You think that you're worried most about Alphabet. People always thought that was one of the sort of undervalued plays here in terms of multiple.
It is an undervalued. I think so. It is an undervalued play relative to the others. The problem is its growth is slown. Now we're into the teens, which would be heroic for a non-tech company, but not great for particularly Alphabet. And remember, the last time they reported, there was some disappointment in the slowing growth. And unless that turns, and I never expect quick turnarounds in these type of things, they still could be under pressure.
Paul, I wonder how you're thinking about the reaction in Microsoft last week as a bit of a tell about sentiment, positioning. Pretty flawless quarter the company put up there. It was a big pop at the open in the stock the next day, and then it gave most of it back. Now, it's indicated to open up a little bit this morning, but what does that tell you in terms of, I guess, valuations and what's already priced in?
Well, I think that's a excellent point that you made. Now, remember, that was on a backdrop of a day when the overall market was down fairly significantly. But you're absolutely right. And that's one of the reasons why I'm just a cautious holder of these names, is some of them have come too far too fast and reflect a best case scenario. And when you're an investor and you're in a situation of overbought or overvaluation, even for great companies, you have to be cautious.